Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today's a special episode. We have some pretty cool news. I've hinted at this in the past, but we are officially going to be getting the rebrand underway. So you'll have to tune into our social media. You'll have to tune in to our newsletter. We'll continuously be providing updates as we go to the official rebrand and the official launch. With me today is my good friend and the master behind the scenes, Steve Vensel. We're going to be talking through it, the rebrand, why we're doing it, what to expect, what's changing, what's staying the same, and ultimately why we're super excited about it. How you doing, Steve?
Man, I am great. I'm buzzing. I'm always grateful for the opportunity to be in your presence. And man, this stuff we're going to talk about today is like it's been in the works for a little bit. So like, I'm happy to share it and kind of talk through it with you.
Yeah, the behind the scenes stuff that's really challenging is trying to figure out what is the appropriate way to do it. How do you tease it? How do I make sure that my loyal listeners know exactly where to find it, how to find it, what's to expect, and how to, appropriately give them the information that they need while still strategically building up what I want this to be.
Hmm. Yeah, and again, I don't think that there's a right or a wrong answer. It's just kind of what's going to work for you, for the brand. But that's a lot of stuff we've been talking about behind the scenes, right? Like, it's like, dude, how do we do it? What does it look like? And I guess I'm obviously privy to it because we're working on it together, but like, what does the change mean for you? Like, I guess, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so changing it from the title of it, the Athletic Fortitude Show, right? We're going to change it to the Playbook with Colin Jonov, right? So it's going to be with me. It's going to be more associated with my name, my interest, the niches that I'm really excited about. A lot of that's going to remain the same, guys. A lot of it is athletics, mindset and athletics, performance, health, but I don't want to just limit it to athletics because all domains of life are going to carry different playbooks to success, defining success for yourself and understanding what that looks like. And I want to be able to hear from different people who have achieved greatness and what their mentality was like, how they, stayed sane, how they kept themselves healthy, right? There's so many different ways to skin a cat, and I don't want to limit it to just athletes. I do believe the athletic mindset is applied to the real world. However, I do want to hear it from everybody because athletes can take things from entrepreneurs, they can take things from doctors, they can take things from whoever, just as they can take things from athletes as well. So I want to expand those conversations. Really, the topics aren't going to change too much. It's just a little bit more different people about who we're hearing it from.
Well, and I think what you did a really good job of and continue to do a good job of is over the past several episodes, you've got people from all walks of life, and they're not just always athletes, right? You've had some, some doctors, you've had some different people in, and it's almost, to me, it's a natural like transition into it. That the rebrand, I think, makes a lot of sense. I love what you said. You were talking about like there's different playbooks. I forget the exact. There's different playbooks based on kind of the role and function that you're playing, right? And it ties to kind of your whole concept, and you talk about a lot about identity, but like, man, there's to have a different playbook, like this overarching thing, like the playbook of life, right? It sounds like that's kind of where you're trying to create basically with these different chapters.
And you hit on the word there with chapters, right? Within each playbook, I believe there's a bunch of mini playbooks called chapters. And, being able to apply different playbooks to different levers and avenues of life and knowing when to use a playbook for a certain situation. We're so complex and yet so simple as individuals, but creating that awareness around ourselves and what is out there for new things to try to add to, our current processes or develop new processes and explore different conversations that we never knew even existed that can really resonate with us and really impact the trajectory of where we're going. And, I want to dive deeper into those lenses, deeper into those conversations, because I do want to reach our current audience on a deeper level, but also expand our audience into new listeners who also need some of this information.
Right. And back to like that identity work, it ties to kind of what one of your passions, right, is exploring identity and understanding that, right? Like, so, to take it from a larger or from a smaller niche of like athlete, right, to the overarching, like this playbook for life type perspective, that creates more space for people to understand that their identity isn't just in one thing. And it allows you to your point, to layer in those different pieces.
Yeah. And, identity is really everything that really everything that I love to talk about and all the different components that play into identity and what does that mean. And, I think one thing to expect too is to really talk more about identity and what an identity actually is, what is comprised of it, how we build it, and more than just like talking about struggling from moving on from it or what does it mean to certain people, but really hammering home what does it mean? Because people frequently say, you're not what you do or you're not your outcomes. Okay, well then the question becomes, what am I? And these conversations are going to become much more detailed into solving that and providing again the playbooks really to unleash and identify, who you want to be and what you want to become.
So do you envision this as almost like a step by step, or is it like, okay, hey, glean information from um, such and such a guest, and right, hey, here's a piece to that we want to apply that, or like, I guess let's talk overall long-term vision, right? Again, it's going to change, but like, do you want to build this playbook to where it's like, this is around this piece, this is this piece, or is it like, we're going to kind of see how it goes?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both, to be
Okay.
honest. I think there's going to be certain episodes that are tailored, like, hey, this is where I started, this is where I finished, this is how I got here, right? And allowing people to tell their stories how they want to. And then there's going to be episodes where it's like, hey, we are looking for a playbook for this specific niche in this specific industry because this person's an expert here. It can really talk to the depths of how to do this, how to execute this, so that anyone listening can apply it if it's applicable to their own life.
Yeah, I dig that. And I think that anybody that's listening right now, I want to encourage, like, if there's certain areas or aspects, right, like to make sure that they reach out to you to lean in, so that way you can kind of target those specific people and those specific, questions with identity. Because I think that I love the medium of podcast. I love what you do and how you bring it to life. And we're always constantly trying to get better. And I think it's listening to the people and trying to bring some stuff to life. So like that's one thing that I always encourage people, like, if there's somebody you want to hear from, or somebody like you have questions or think does it well, always pass that information on. Because again, like, I really believe everybody's got a story, and everybody's got a story we're sharing, and we're going to learn from each other. So like, that's one thing that just came up for me, because I know you're well connected, man. You've got a lot of great people, but we've got so many blind spots, myself included, that it's like, okay, where and who, and some of those are the best conversations that I've had.
I think one thing to expect too, kind of going off what you're saying, is expect me to be more involved with my audience as well and be more involved, specifically just me in social media too, so I can interact with guests on a personal level, right? Not just the basis of the conversations in the podcast, but things that they want to hear from too.
Mhm.
I know I engage with my audience when I do my Q&A episodes. But day to day, be willing to engage with them as well and share some of the things that I'm working on behind the scenes, and show a lens of what those things look like as well. For example, as I renovate my area here, my studio, you can expect to see this look completely different. So I'm excited to get into the process of those things as well. But we have some really cool future guests coming on. So I have some guests slightly confirmed, looking to secure dates, but some really, really cool guests that you're not going to want to miss. And I would love to be able to, I'll announce them as they commit. And then, would love to get people's questions and curiosities other than just my own, that I can incorporate it into my world of questioning.
So for clarification, the playbook with Colin Jonov, we've got Athletic Fortitude, separate Instagram handle, all that stuff. Like, how are socials going to work, and what's your strategy there?
Yeah, great question. So everything's going to channel to my personal page. Expect everyone who follows my Athletic Fortitude page on Instagram, you will get a direct DM, you will get a direct message, and I will direct you to my personal page. All of my content will be coming from there here very shortly. Can't thank everyone enough for going to that page as well and following. Now we're going to direct you back to my personal page, and everything's going to be coming from there. It's going to be coming from my Twitter as well, both same handle, Colin Jonov 10. We're going to be getting all the good stuff there, and get more accustomed to me, my face, and my life as well.
I dig that. And I think that there's a lot to be said right now for people. Again, you can have separate arms, but I love the fact that, like, again, this ties back to your identity, but like, you are the brand, man. Like, you're having and you're steering these conversations, and you're trying to impact these lives through the lens of the way you're doing it. So I love that you're directing it back towards you, not to make it, not that it's about you, but like, again, it's a piece of who you are. So I think that's pretty cool.
And I think one thing too is, working with athletes, right? That's still athletic fortitude. Like athletic
Mm-hmm.
fortitude itself isn't going anywhere. It's just the rebranding and reframing of the messaging that comes from those conversations privately of doing a better job. Not that there's a concern there, but keeping that kind of separate, right? And keeping the podcast conversations where they are. So there's no real blending between the coaching aspect in here, even though principles carry across, making sure that the podcast itself is its own, identity as an extension of my own.
Yeah, I like that. And again, I think that is one of the things that sets you apart, right? Like you've got this passion to bring this stuff to life, and dude, you've got tons of ideas, and I think that's one of the things I'm grateful for through our conversations. Is like, yeah, let's do it. And again, like you say yes to a lot, in many ways to just make sure that you're bettering people and you're bringing these conversations to life. And again, I love the realness that you're going to add. Just the people are going to get to see and get to know, kind of like I've gotten to know you, right? Like the stuff with your wife and your family and all of those different things, right? Like who you are and who's the man be steering these conversations to. I think that's pretty cool.
And it'll be good for me too. And a large part of the reason I'm doing it is going to push my own comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would think because I love podcasting that I love, holding a camera to my face and, recording certain things that I'm doing, but that's a challenge for me. And it'll be good for me to push that threshold and grow as a person, right? We talk about identity, right? Part of me is wanting to be resilient, being fortuitous. Well, I have to challenge myself, have to push into areas of discomfort, particularly ones that are going to help grow the podcast, grow the things that I'm trying to grow the brand. So, that's a large part of the reason I wanted to rebrand, hold myself accountable, and push the envelope of things that I feel comfortable doing. And once I get comfortable doing those things, I'll find some new things to do as well.
Yeah, that's I love that, man. That's very on brand for you, at least, again, and over the time that we've gotten to know each other, right? Like again, you're always seeking a little bit of that discomfort, that growth, and leaning into it, because that's what you're about, man. I definitely know that and believe that.
Well, if anyone, including you, has a physical challenge that they can throw at me, I'm very picky. I talked about this on a podcast before, McHenry, but I've been looking for like a physical challenge to do that is A, not bodybuilding, B, not marathon running because my knee's messed up. So I need like some type of challenge that I can train really hard for because I've just been dying to I've had 4 knee surgeries in 2 years, right? It's not like I've been doing a ton of physical competition.
Right.
So like I'm dying for like some type of like physical competition other than just like lifting, which scratches the itch, of course. But, I'm really looking to like peak train and like get myself ready for like an intense competition.
So okay, let's stay with that. Like, so what does that like? Take the knees out. So no marathon running, no bodybuilding, right? Like, is the realm of like HYROX? I mean, obviously that's the new thing, right? Like everybody loves their HYROX, right? There's some
What,
running, there's some,
what the
all of
heck is a
that.
HYROX? Tell me what that
HYROX?
is.
HYROX. It's basically it's an endurance competition. So it's a combination of running and then physical activity. So think like it's kind of like CrossFitty, and people will probably yell at me for saying that, but I've been seeing a lot of people doing a lot of events, and you can do like team events, couple events, like all that stuff. So I think they'll butcher me. I'll probably get yelled at for the distance, but like you run like an 800-meter run, and then you do an activity. So like 1,000-meter ski erg, right? And then you run another lap. A lot of it's done in like convention centers and stuff like that. So you do a lap, you do a thing, and then you run another lap, and then let's say it's a burpees for length, right? You have to complete the course, and then you do another lap. So like that's something that comes to mind that's not like full blown marathon, but like again, it's both physical and then also like aerobic endurance.
Dude, this looks insane.
Dude, it's the latest thing. Like I
how,
know a
how
lot of
far is
people.
how far is 1 kilometer?
Ugh,
I am
man.
metrically challenged.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to grab the phone. Here's the cool thing is we've got, if you think about it, man, we have all this information right at our fingertips. What do you want to compare it with, like 1 kilometer into
Is it like mile, like yards? Like what are
one
we looking at?
kilometer? 1 kilometer is 0.62 miles. So a little more than a half a mile, to call it 2/3 of a mile.
What is a ski urge?
Oh, so like, okay, so you, like, instead of the rowers, the ski erg is, if you've seen them, like, you grab the handles and you're like skiing down. Well, I'll send it to you afterwards. Like, so yeah, but it's a strategy. It's the same thing. There are people are training for it like crazy right now. So it's like ski erg, like burpees. What else is on there?
Dude, this is insane. All right,
Yeah.
so we got this is how it goes. So you have a 1 kilometer run, you have a functional workout. Following the run, they compete in a specific functional exercise station. And then this pattern of 1 kilometer run followed by the functional workout is repeated 8 times. So the specific stations are a 1,000 meter ski urge, 40-meter sled push, 40-meter sled pull, 80 meters of burpee broad jumps, 1,000 meters of rowing, 200-meter farmer's carries, 100-meter sandbag lunges, 75 or 100 wall balls, depending on division. This is insane.
So here's your thing, man.
I'm
Like,
super tempted to just like throw myself into this.
hey, I mean, there's one. Well, that that one would crush you, because there's one in New York. I got it pulled up. There's one in New York.
The
End of
averaging
May.
finishing
That's too
time is an
close.
hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah,
To
it's
get
like,
all that done, and that's impressive.
bro, it's insane. And again, I'm looking.
What would I
HYROX
do
Key.
without you, Steve?
I know. I mean, this is, God had our lives intersect for a reason, man. There's little, but like, and again, I know there's different ones. I'll have to look, and they may run, like, the season may be through there. I mean, there's stuff all over the world, but like, I mean, is that Birmingham, Alabama?
I
Can't
think
be.
it's going to be tough on my knee,
Yeah,
but I want, like, this is something that I'm like kind of looking for though.
but it's not marathon. So that's what
Right.
made me think about it. I mean, again, November, there's HYROX Chicago, there's HYROX Dallas in November. So that gives you enough time. Like, I mean, it looks like they're all over the country, all over the globe. Anaheim in December. So yeah, like, if you wanted, like, Chicago is actually kind of, it could be drivable, right? You could make a weekend out of it if you really wanted to. That's November 15th and 16th.
Like, dude, the world record for this is 55 minutes. That's insane.
Yeah.
To get all that done in 55 minutes.
And there's team events, like, so you can partner up with somebody, or like you can get a team of like 3 or 4 guys to do, and like you rotate them through, right? Because I think it's 8 legs. Yeah, I've heard, like, Jesse Itzler, I saw, did it with like Todd Anderson and their buddy, I think Kevin, and a couple other, like, one other guy. Like, there's a whole bunch of, like, it's the latest and greatest thing. So, I mean,
I might have
Nove-
to do it.
November in Chicago, like, could be, because that's far enough away, right? Like that.
It's far enough away I could get in shape. As long, like I said, the big thing is like when I start training, like there's a difference between like pain and like discomfort. Like pain in the knee for me, right, is like my knee swells up, it starts catching, like hard to go down steps, right?
Yeah,
Like, and it like feels like someone's like stabbing. So if I can if I can avoid that, I'm
yeah,
game. Even if it feels like that after the competition, like I just don't want it to be like that every single day when I train. That's
yeah.
like the piece. But yeah, this thing seems dope.
Okay, so maybe we've got something for you
I
to,
might
like.
have to make the announcement here soon. I'm going to analyze it, talk it over with my wife because I'm going to have to dedicate more time to training. She
Yeah.
might kill me, but she'd be the first one congratulating me. You know, when I got through the finish line, I'll tell you that.
I mean, think of the example you set for the kids. Come on.
That's what, that's that is a really big thing. Is
Mm,
like kids need to see you do challenging things.
come
I
on.
can tell my kid everything in the world, but if they don't see it from me, the weight of my words like loses its power.
Yeah, it's, again, and it's a delicate balance too, because, like, as a leader of our families and of ourselves and all that stuff, like, you want to show that, and you want to show the good and the bad and the challenging. Like, the kids with the cold plunge in the back, right? Like, when we first, like, they sat and they're watching Corey and I go through it, or like with the sauna, like, it's like they're like, oh, okay, and you come out dripping sweat and you're like, all the different stuff, but like, now the kids are like, they'll put their feet in the cold plunge, or they'll do this or this, and like, and that's small things, right? That's small areas of discomfort or challenge, right? Like, the example that we set, if it's, as I look down here, like, my Bible's sitting out here, right? Like the examples that we set, that's not a discomfort thing, but again, it's a conscious effort that we need to show. And then the more that we show our kids doing these behaviors that we want to instill in them, man, that's where the power comes, and that's how we empower the next generation.
That was so incredibly well said. What cold plunge and sauna do you use? I know you use Sisu sauna. What do you use for your cold plunge?
Sisu sauna, and then right now in the back, I've got a Morosco Forge, one of their new ones that is just recently come out that I'm helping do a little bit of testing and whatnot on. It's a phenomenal unit. We had ice floating in it the other day.
What's your routine with those?
It depends. So like yesterday, Corey and I did a small contrast. We did a small contrast session. So it was 10 or 15 minutes in the sauna and then 2 minutes in the plunge. And then we did that twice. We had friends over on Friday. Man, you want to talk about something cool and communal and doing hard things together. We had a couple friend and their daughter over, and we did contrast. We did 15 to 20 minutes in at 176 degrees. And then 2 to 3 minutes in the plunge. And the plunge was, I think, at like 37, 38. But it was
incredible.
Like,
that's cold.
That's cold. It's cold. But that's what I love about the super cold is the fact that it literally is, it's 2 to 3 minutes. And you want to talk about embracing discomfort. Like you get in, it's like, but then once you find your breath and you anchor yourself in it, like it's the discomfort is still there, but it dissipates. And then like I've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, cool. I could do 3 to 5 minutes if I really want. And then, so if I'm doing contrast and I hop back in the sauna, you always want to end on cold. But like, if I'm just plunging like on a day, I either go straight to a workout or I'm doing like push-ups and air squats when I get out. Cause there's a lot of studies around pre-cooling. So if you get yourself really cold and then work out, there's boosts in testosterone and muscle growth from that perspective. You don't really want a cold plunge afterwards. Much unfortunately, that's how it was in collegiate athletics because it inhibits muscle. It inhibits muscle growth, right? Because again, if you think about when you're breaking your muscles and all that stuff, like if you get a good lift in and everything, you don't want to go into the plunge because then it goes ahead and it decreases the inflammation and everything. But the inflammation is where the muscle grows. So
where's your who's your go-to person for like health and fitness or health and wellness?
And I don't have one. I'm fortunate to be surrounded by a lot of people and learning a lot. Like Dr. Seeger with Morosco, he's one I lean into a lot around cold. Pete Nelson, who I just had on my podcast with Sisu, he's somebody I lean into a lot and ask a lot of questions to. Jesse Itzler, a lot of people follow him. Like he's big into the sauna and the plunge and like disruption space. Devin LeVake, he was the owner of ProMix. I follow him. Like that's a challenge with social media though, right? Like there's so much out there that you need to decipher who is, again, you got Dr. Huberman and Dr. Jeremy London. He's a cardiovascular surgeon, right? Like, it's everybody's got a piece of health and wellness that they like specialize in. And right now, like Peter Attia, all these guys, like we consume so much and then sometimes it's overwhelming. I think Chris Williamson was talking to, who was he talking to? But he talked about like wisdom porn is what he calls it.
You're so right. He does call it that.
Yeah. So like wisdom porn, and it's like, there's so much, like, it's like you're getting sprayed with a fire hose, and whether it's health and wellness or this, and like, there's so much out there. And I think the hardest part is to just decipher A, what you want to apply, and then B, like, what do you have the capability to apply? Because again, all of this sounds great. Like there's Sleep 8 Sleep. It's this cover for your mattress, right? And it aids in sleep and cooling because you want to be cold at night, right? It's a tremendous product, and I've heard it on every time I hear it on a podcast, I go look at it, and it's like $3,000 or $4,000, and I'm like, yo, like I would love that because I sleep hot, and we're in Arizona. We can't turn the thermostat down all the way because our AC bill would be like $5,000, but there's a barrier to entry from a cost perspective. So it's tough to just decipher like what it is you want to try and what you have the capability to try,
Yeah, and honestly, that's something I wanted to rant about today, but I'm not going to go on a full rant.
You can go a little.
It's one of the things you always see conflicting people on social media saying like, this is a gimmick, this is a hack, that doesn't work, do this. And my problem with, why these conversations are going to go deeper into new places too is like, I have a firm belief that everybody has a space. Now, are there people out there who are just like total hack people? Absolutely. But I think some of the traditionalists and some of the new people would actually probably agree on most topics. It's
Mm-hmm.
just trying to expand the research, try new things, find ways to evolve. And I think the people that butt heads a lot, where if they would actually do it in a civil manner, would actually probably get along well and most likely move forward the health and wellness space. I don't think just because something's traditional doesn't mean you can't add or build upon new things. I also fall into the category that sometimes, like when you're looking at studies, right? I think people want to nitpick studies. I think you can make general conclusions. Like something doesn't need to be this super rigorous, like scientifically
Mm-hmm.
detailed study with all these kinds of whatever, required documents to approve it.
The double blind placebo,
Yeah.
like
To be
100%.
able to make like a reasonable connection, like, hey, this might have some benefits, or at
Mm-hmm.
worst, it's not going to hurt you to try type of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think there needs to be in the space in general some more nuance and acceptance and less hatred or vitriol.
Well, and again, we're in a world of clickbaity and all of this different stuff, right? To where it's like, okay, it's some people, and again, I don't know what the heart posture is without talking to people, but again, some people may do it just to go ahead and be diametrically opposed to something. But like up here in Scottsdale, Dr. Sean Drake, him and his wife Kiki, they own a place called Modern Athlete, right? And they've got all these different modalities. And Sean does all of this. They do all of this testing, and they bring products in that they've fully vetted and do all this stuff. But like for me, it's also about aligning yourself with people that you can believe into. So like I'll go up to his clinic and he's got a whole bunch of different modalities. Again, he's got a Morosco up there. He's got a shift wave. He's got, these PEMF mats, like all stuff that's outside of my scope. So like my big thing is like, I don't know what it's doing to me, but again, I trust him to put me through stuff or guide me in things. And if I'm walking away feeling better afterwards, guess what? That's the win, right? Like I don't know what it does on a cellular level. I'm not taking blood work every time I go in. So like, I also think that that's part of it is like, if you can embrace it, again, like you and I talk, like I love fasting. Fasting's a big thing that I love to do. And it's not for everybody, but like, I know that it helps me in multiple ways from a cellular level and everything, but I've never had it tested. Like but I know that when I'm done with it, how it makes me feel and all these things. So like we are kind of an experiment that we get to decide what we want to test out, what we want to try. And I think that that's the hardest part is determining what experiment you want to do. And then like not going too crazy too.
I think the big thing, like you just said, the experimentation part. What works for you and what doesn't? Just because something may be scientifically proven doesn't mean anecdotally it'll work for me. And just because something anecdotally works for me doesn't mean it may be scientifically proven for the vast majority. And that's where I think the limitations on science to what we have up to today, I think can really be expanded and explored and customized as new research comes out, as technologies change. And that's what I'm so fascinated to learn about is like how customizable is like science to our DNA, because we're all one of one.
Mhm.
Everybody's different. So it's like for me, it's like how can you roll out anything? I mean, obviously that's generalized,
You
guys,
can look
but
at the
like
masses, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it's like how can you say fasting it doesn't work for anybody? Like I just like some people will say that, and I'm just like I don't know if that's true because when I'm in periods of fast, I feel better. So
Mhm.
it's it's a nuanced discussion and discussions I'm unbelievably stoked to dive deeper into.
I dig that, man. And again, I think that these are conversations that people need to hear about too. Cause like, so when we were in Portland, Corey and I, my wife, we were vegan for basically 5 years. Right. And again, it's an experiment. Like we sit and, okay, here's a lot of data. Here's a lot of science that cool. We're going to get behind it. And when we were vegan, I was traveling out doing all this different stuff. And like, I had what now I find out is gout. Right. But I'm not eating the things and I'm not doing the things that traditionally cause gout. But again, people are sitting there going, okay, well, you're not doing this, but like my body obviously didn't work well for me, right? So it's again, we're back to being full blown omnivore, eating everything, but like, and the rate of that has steadily declined. And there's other extenuating circumstances, but like, it's not a broad brushstroke for everybody. When we started it, I felt great. Like I enjoyed the whole process, right? But again, to your point too, our bodies adapt and evolve, right? Like let's talk cold plunge. Like the first time you get in 50-degree water, it sucks. Like, yeah, and it's 50 degrees, right? Like, let alone,
Yeah.
let alone 35, right? So like, but the more that you get used to it, like we had this set up and it was like 42 or something like that. And Corey's like, oh, I don't know. Little do I know, one day she goes out and she spends 10 minutes in 42-degree water, right? Because your body adapts and then you also embrace the discomfort. You embrace something challenging because of how it's potentially making you feel. So like we're all experimenting, right? Like sleep and all the different water hydration. Do you put salt in your water? Do you do electrolytes? Do you do that? Like test it out, see how you feel. And then if you want to test further, right, obviously blood work and there's different stuff. There's a lot of great companies out there too that can help. I know Mark Hyman's doing stuff with, I think Function, Josh Whalen and his wife, they've got Get Blokes and Joy Wellness. You should try to connect with them because they do like blood work and then customize like vitamins and stuff like that. Like, because
That
again,
stuff.
bro, we're literally experimenting and here we have a choice or you don't, right? Like, and I think that's the thing that like, I love where this conversation is gone, by the way, but like we have that choice. It's up to us. Do you want to experiment or do you want to like stay as you are? And if you stay as you are, there's no judgment. But like, again, also don't judge the people that are experimenting.
Exactly. That's what I always say. That judgment's a two-way street. I'm never gonna judge anyone. Just don't judge me back, right? And if you do judge me back, cool. That's your right. That's your prerogative.
Yeah.
We're just probably not gonna. We're not gonna kick it that much.
Yeah. And again, it's we tell our kids, right? The only person we have control over is ourselves. So from that perspective, like if people want to judge, my wife has done a really good job at checking me on some things. Like I've had people, I released my podcast episode with Pete from Sisu last week. And a couple people go, hey, there's no intro. I don't know who he is or anything. And Corey and I was like, oh, maybe I need to do this. She goes, stop dimming your light. Like do what you feel called to do. And again, people are going to understand but like, do what you feel called to do and then stand firm on it. And again, can we evolve? Sure. But like, if you think it's good enough, if you think it's something you're worth pursuing or trying, do it and then figure it out for yourself.
This is what you can expect to come, guys. It's gonna be deeper. It's gonna be better. It's gonna be more people. It's gonna be fun. Nobody else would rather have with me announce, the rebrand, the playbook with Colin Jonov, but can't do it without Steve. So I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you guys being loyal, tuning in. Keep up to date on the social media at ColkyJohnoff10. Newsletter is going to be providing updates as well. We're going to be going full rebrand here in the very near future. Subscribe to the newsletter. You can check it out at athleticfortitude.com. We'll give you an official date soon. Background's going to be looking nicer and prettier too. And, we're going to have some pretty cool updates, coming really, really soon. But thank you, Steve. Guys, tune in next week. 5 stars only.
5 stars only, baby. Talk to you soon, brother.